Welcome. Today we are taking up a concrete illustration of formulation Prithvi. Earth is the first element. The formulation Prithvi deserves to be approached for its values embedded in this formulation. It is this embedding of different layers of meanings within the formulation which is the special feature of organization of Vedic knowledge. Vedic knowledge has successfully compactified different layers of meanings within each formulation. Formulation Prithvi, Earth, is the basic formulation as it is the formulation of the first Mahabhut, first basic element. There are 5 basic elements and Earth is the first. Prithvi is the first formulation. We know that each word has a TCV value, transcendental code value, Divyank Vivasta, and each Divyank fold, Divyank value, TCV value is of 10 folds. Here, in the context of the formulation Prithvi, we have to glimpse as to how this formulation is having complete expression for its all 10 folds along all the 10 directions. And this 10 directional frame is the unique frame, and it is this frame which is bringing within its folds the complete range of features and values of the formulation Prithvi. On the computer screen is the depiction of this 10 directional frame. At the top line are arranged the values 9, 16, 21, 22, 23, 23, 24, 30, 33, 34, 42 of summation value 283 as the values of 10 directional frame. The depiction of these directions along with their names, designations as formulations and TC values is being given. One shall acquaint well with these formulations of 10 directions, the names of these 10 directions, and the TC values of these 10 directions. The names are Purv, Paschim, East and West, and the formulation Purv is of TC value 21, while the formulation Paschim is of formulation 22. A reach from value 21 to 22 is a reach of the format of Eka Adhikain Purvain. Therefore, one can here have a pause and have the glimpse as to how this organization is in fact the organization being settled by and in terms of the Ganita Sutras themselves. The north to east, Uttar to Dakshin, as formulation Uttar is of TC value 16 and as formulation Dakshin it is of TC value 24. And this flow 16 to 24 is of multiplier 1.5. As such, the unit flow here north to south is 1.5, while the unit flow or from east to west, Purv to Paschim is 1. Then there are quadruple half directions, middle directions. These are called half directions as at the center there is a two-fold flow and each flow from the middle that way is a complete directional flow. Therefore, the Ishan cone, a reach from west-south direction up till the middle is of Ishan code, and ahead from the northeast line again cone is of value 30. The other pair of directions, Y-way cone and Nairitya cone, are of TC values 34 and 42. The ninth direction is Ad downward and 10th direction is Udhar upward, and these are of TC values 9 and 23. Let us have a pause. Let us have a fresh visit to this organization. Let us have a visit to the formulations and their TC values as designations and names of these 10 directions. And then sequentially, we shall be through these formulations, their features, and the connected aspects. These 10 directions as such make 5 flow lines: पूर्व पश्चिम, उत्तर दक्षिण, ईशान कोण, अग्नि कोण, वायव्य कोण, नैऋत्य कोण, अध्यनुधर्व. Therefore, this 10 directional frame is making 5 directional flow. And these 5 directional flow, as is depicted, tabulated, and is on the computer screen, well indicates that first directional flow, east to west, is of values 21 plus 22 is equal to 43, and the flow unit here is 1. The second flow line, Uttar to Dakshin, north to south, is of values 16 plus 24 is equal to 40, and the flow unit is 1.5. The third flow line, Ishan cone to Agan cone, is of value 63, and here the flow steps are 30 to 33. The fourth flow line is of Vave cone and Naritte cone, and it is of values 34 plus 42, 76, and the flow steps are 42, 34, that is 8. The fifth flow line is Ad to Dharv, and it is of total value 30, total value 9 plus 23 is 32, and the flow steps are 14. This directional frame is 10 directional frame, and this 10 directional frame is making penta flow lines. This is parallel with the structural domain boundary setup of hypercube 5, the representative regular body of 5 space. 5 space is a solid order space. 3 space plays the role of dimension of 5 space, and 3 space is having 10 directional frame. The 10 directional frame of 3 space in the role of a dimension of a transcendental space as such is going to be the transcendental basis base of this 10 directional frame. In this background, when we have a further chase, then it comes well in our attention, focused attention, as that this 10 directional frame as such is the manifestation format of the solids of the earth within 4 space. So this 10 directional frame within creators the space, within 4 space, within hypercube 4 domain is the full expression, and this full expression, as we have seen, is of total value 287. One may have a pause here and take note that this Kendra center as well as of t value 23. So this value 283 in fact is the value of all 10 directions together with this Kendra center. So center together with 10 directions as set of 10 formulations in this expression within 4 space with 5 space as origin is a full expression of 11 directional setup, with the 11th direction being the inflow within the transcendental origin itself. One shall sit comfortably and to permit the transcending mind to be parallel with this organizational setup as to how the solids as three space content lumps when manifest as bodies, fourfold bodies within creator's space, then its domain fold being the third fold is of expression of 10 directional frame having a inward meeting point at its center, which constitutes the solid order transcendental origin for the creator's space. One shall sit comfortably and to permit the transcending mind to be parallel with this organizational feature for the manifestation of three space content lump within the creator's space with its 10 directional frame having a center as the source for flow of all the 10 directions. All the 10 directions flow from the center. Center is a transcendental origin. Transcendental origin is of a solid order. So the solid order of the transcendental origin of the creator's space has its full expression as 10 directions flow within creator's space. These are the features which deserve to be comprehended well, and with comprehension of these features, with imbibing of these values, one will be acquiring the required insight and the needed enlightenment about the existence phenomenon of solids within the creator's space. It is the existence phenomenon of the solids, three space content lumps as domain folds of the manifested bodies within four space. And it is this existence phenomenon which is being chased. And this chase is in terms of the elements. And the first element is the Prithvi. Prithvi is one of the five elements. There are five basic elements. These are designated as Mahabhut. There are Panch Mahabhut. Now, we are concentrating at the transcendental origin of the creator's space. Let us see the formulation Prithvi. It is of TC value 25. And let us now have a fresh visit to a triangle, which is a printout of three space within surface. This printout of three space within surface is the unique manifestation as a triangle. Let us have a visit at a right angle triangle of values 3, 4, and 5. The triple values 3, 4, and 5 as such are coordinated as 3 square plus 4 square is equal to 5 square. However, if we consider the surface area of this triangle, which comes to the 6 units, then this triple value 3, 4, 5 setup transits into a quadruple value setup 3, 4, 5, 6, which is parallel with the fourfold manifestation layers of hypercube 5, the representative regular body of 5 space within 4 space. Further, when we take into account the 7 constituents of this triangle, namely 3 vertices, 3 sides, and surface area, then the quadruple values 3, 4, 5, 6 transit and transform into a five-fold range 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which makes a solid order range. 3 space as dimension, 4 space as boundary, 5 space as domain, 6 space as origin, and 7 space as base. This solid order transcendence range is of summation value 25, parallel with the TCV Prithvi 25. As such, the first element, the first Mahabhut of the Panch Mahabhut range is Prithvi. Prithvi is the first element. Prithvi as formulation is of TC value 25, and this formulation Prithvi sequentially unfolds as 3, 4, 5, then as 3, 4, 5, 6, then as 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and finally as 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, as the eighth component of this setup is the outer space of this triangle. ABC triangle is having three vertices A, B, C. It is having three sides A, B, B, C, and CA. It is having one surface of 6 units. Inside these three sides, the surface within the frame of these three sides of the triangle make a distinct setup, distinct constituent, and the outer space, the surface outside this triangle is the independent component, and that way the total components come to be 8. This value 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is a 6 steps long range. It is self-referral range. It is of value 33. One may have a pause here and take note that when the first element, Prithvi, is taken along with the second element, Apa, water, of this value 8, therefore, this setup for the space as outer space and inner space of this triangle together with the structural components of the triangle itself, including its area, then it brings us face to face with as two earth and water being taken together. One may have a pause here and take note that if we have a lump of earth and if we put a water in it, then we know this earth with water is a composition, and it is this composition which with its value 33 brings us face to face with as to how a three-dimensional frame becomes a synthetic setup of a pair of three-dimensional frames of half dimensions. See how earth together with water is taking us to, is transiting into, is making a format of absolutely different features. The earth as a three-space body and water as a four-space setup. Earth as a linear order setup and earth as a spatial order setup. When being taken together, these result into a synthetic setup for a three-dimensional frame into a setup of a pair of three-dimensional frames of half dimensions. It is this feature which deserves to be comprehended well. It is this feature which is to be imbibed fully. We know that a four-directional frame which had taken us to value 287 is in fact is a transcendence range beginning with the value 283 and reaching up till value 287. 283, 284, 285, 286, 287. See, these values are 280 plus 3, 280 plus 4, 280 plus 5, 285, 6, and 280 plus 7. So it takes us to the additional values, Shesh and Cain, Charmain, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, with summation value 25, Earth. So Earth is a setup, a formulation, is an element, is a transcendence range. And it is this transcendence range which is being worked out, which is being chased, and which is being exploited fully by the Vedic systems. See, we are having creations within creators of space and force space. Within creators of space, the 10-directional frame together with its Kendra center is a total value 287, which makes an organization of 283 plus 4, where 4 is the value for force space and 283 the value for the total letters of all 16 Ganita Sutras. 16 is the value of the quadruple spatial dimensions of a force space. The spatial dimensional frame of quadruple dimensions of force space makes a value 16. And we know that three space plays the role of an origin, and as such, the quadruple solid origins, when get superimposed upon a spatial directional frame of quadruple dimensions, it makes value 81 3 raised to the power 4 being superimposed upon a spatial dimensional frame 2 raised to the power 4. And Prithvi as Mahabhut makes the value 65, while Mahabhut is a value 40. Value 40 is parallel with 40 coordinates of the creative boundary of 10 components of 5 space, while 65 is the value of 13 as the cube having coordination with 5 space origin. Therefore, sadhakas fulfilled with the intensity of urge to be parallel with Vedic systems and Vedic formulations shall sit comfortably and to have a chase of the formulation Prithvi. Now, this formulation Prithvi is of TC value 25, and the formulation Vishnu as well is of TC value 25. And we know that hypercube 5 is of value 18, while the base is value 7. Therefore, the 7 colors spectrum with 7 geometries range of 3 space, 3 space in the role of dimension of transcendental origin, 3 space in the role of a solid boundary. That way brings us face to face with the 7 colors spectrum. On the computer screen is the tabulation of these 7 colors, and these tabulations of these formulations Chitkabra, Neela, Krish, Hara, Pila, Rakt, Svet as designations of these 7 colors with the TC values 24, 18, 19, 15, 16, 10 and 20, a summation 122 takes us to the organization of value 122, which is parallel with the summation value of 4 folds of hypercube 31. Hypercube 31 means parallel with 31 structural components of a cube hypercube 3. These are the features which deserve to be comprehended well. One shall sit comfortably and to have a visit to the organization for value 122 as summation value 29 plus 30 plus 31 plus 32, further as 61 and 61, still further as 106 and 16, and still further as 53, 16 and 53. Means the creators of space with spatial order dimensional frame of value 2 raised to the power 4 splits the transcendental origin into a pair of solid order ranges of value 53 each. One shall sit comfortably and to glimpse and imbibe these values and features. It is in this light that we shall be coming back to the 10 folds setup of the formulation Prithvi. Let us take it as a blissful exercise. Let us compile and compute the 10 folds values of the formulation Prithvi. It will come to 1016. In the next session, we will be taking up this thread ahead and we will be chasing all the 10 folds of TC value 25 of the formulation Prithvi. And it is in terms of these 10 folds of the formulation Prithvi that we shall be face to face with the organization, format, features, values, and other connected aspects of manifestation of a earth as a three space content manifesting within four space, and with it we will be having a transition and transformation from pure values to the applied values, from Vedic mathematics to Vedic mathematics science and technology domain. It is a real blissful transition and transformation. Sadhkas are from this session or in the real in-depth glimpse stage of the values of the Vedic mathematics for having a chase for its applied values. We are beginning with the first element. We'll be continuing this change. Thank you very much.